Hey everybody, welcome back to the Journey channel. I am Chelsea J and I'm super excited to share with you this new series. I have heard from many people from the audience that they have certain goals and dreams and desires that they want to aspire to, that they want to reach. But in order to do that, we have to be able to deal and face the things that are going on the inside of us. I have wrote a book called I Am Rebuilt, which focuses on how to be better, how to be rebuilt in the midst of a broken season. When I wrote the book, I Am Rebuilt, I was in a season of brokenness. I was in a season of hurt. And I share how God healed me in the midst of being broken. Because sometimes we think we have to arrive or we have to get there to be healed. But no, God wants to meet you where you are at. And we are going to start this series so that we can all become healed. So we can all become rebuilt. So if you want to follow along with my book and this series, you can purchase my book on Amazon. The link is below, and I hope that you truly enjoy it. That being said, let's start this new series. There are two things that we all can relate with. The first thing that we can relate with is love. We are wired to love. We have this desire, this desperation within to love. We were created to love. We want love. We want to give love. We are wired for love. There have been many people in this world that have died due to the lack of love. The issue that occurs is that many people find love in many different places instead of the ultimate source. The ultimate source is God. God created love. He is love. Therefore, we have to seek love from God. The next point is that everyone on this earth will deal with rejection. We are going to be rejected. Even Jesus Christ was rejected when he was on this earth. It says in 1 Peter 2:4 that he was the cornerstone, yet people rejected him. There are some of you that may not even have a relationship with Christ and is choosing to reject Jesus. But it's beautiful to know that although Jesus was rejected, God still chose him. And even though you may be rejected, God still chooses you. And when love is broken, we break, which results in rejection. The pain of brokenness leads to blindness. There are times that we are so hurt, that we are in so much pain that we don't know what else to do, but we cannot face it. That we are so blinded by what we are dealing with on the inside. In John chapter 4, there is a story of Jesus and a Samaritan woman. A Samaritan woman is a Gentile mixed with a Jew. They're half-breeds. So Jewish people do not communicate with Samaritans. They reject them because they're not fully Jews. So Jesus is on his journey and he's tired and he waits at a well. He lets his disciples go on to grab lunch and he's sitting at the well waiting for this Samaritan woman. So Jesus stopped at 12 o'clock at noon. Normally during this time, it's very hot. It's very, very hot and not a lot of people will go to the well during this time. So the Samaritan woman went at 12 at noon because she knew that no one would be there. She knew that she wouldn't have to deal with rejection. She knew she wouldn't have to deal and face the people that were against her. That she would be able to go to the well in isolation and being alone. And there are some of us today that don't want to face the people that rejected them. That all they want to do is run, that they want to go at a time, they want to deal with this at a specific time so they don't have to interfere and deal with what's going on with their souls. Another name for Jesus is Jehovah Shammah, which means already there. He's already in your tomorrow. He's already in your future. And there's a lot of times in our lives that we don't think he's there, but he's there. During my rebuilding time, I had to be able to take the responsibility to grab my water pail and get to the well so that Jesus can make me whole. And he wants to make you whole too. So now we continue on the reading, and it says in verse 7, when a Samaritan woman came to the well to get some water, Jesus said to her, "Please give me a drink." This happened while Jesus' followers were in town buying some food. Then number 9, it says, the woman said, "I am surprised that you asked me for a drink, since you are a Jewish man and I am a Samaritan." So the woman already walked up with the expectation of being rejected. There are some of us that already have this expectation of being rejected. Whatever situation, whatever invitation we get, we feel like we're no longer going to be concluded. We're not going to be invited, that we're not going to be accepted because we already believe that we are rejected. Rejection is the refusal of someone else appreciating or accepting who you are or who you are not. And there are some of you that are believing that based off of who you are not. There's some of you that people have put expectations on you, therefore they have rejected you based off of who you are not or who you are. And why did the Samaritan woman already walk in rejection? Why are you already walking in rejection? Rejection will connect with our identity. It can be a connection of our personality, based off our experiences, based off our bloodline, based off our past. Rejection begins to be this infection on the inside that forms into who we think we're supposed to be. Let me tell you, the bad attitude that you may have, that's not your identity. The inability or the refusal to emotionally connect with someone, the lack of trust that you may have on people, the fear of vulnerability or transparency, the moment that you feel like you're not good enough, that irrational drive that you have to succeed, that is not your identity. There are times in our lives that we attach our dysfunctions with our identity, and God says, no, I did not create you that way. Your dysfunctions is not your identity. You believe that you are who God created you to be, or did you suppress yourself based off of somebody else's opinion? Because rejection is a thief that tries to rob you of yourself and who you truly are. Let's continue on as it says in verse 10, where we will stop at today. It says, Jesus said, if you only knew the free gift of God and who it is that is asking you for water, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. It's time to get honest. It's time to be able to accept our reality, to realize that we are actually going through something on the inside. It's time to recognize it. And Jesus is saying, if only you knew. If we go back in that verse, he says, if only you knew the free gift of God. He's saying to her, if only you knew what is going on with you on the inside. I see what you are dealing with. I see the hurt and pain. And if only you knew, I can give you free. I can give you the gift of God. I can give you living water. And he's saying that to you, that it's time to self-evaluate. It's time to recognize what is going on on the inside. It's time to dive into our inner being and just say, God, I need you to reveal yourself to me. And I need you to reveal me to me so that I can change. This is the very first step, y'all, to recognize. And it's such a big step because I know the world, society says that emotions are weak. Society says that emotions are not accepted. That we can't be so emotional, that we can't address our emotions, that we can't cry in public, that we can't be real, that we can't feel. And in reality, God created emotions as a gift to alert us of what is going on the inside. I am not saying that we need to be led by our emotions. I'm saying that we need to be able to recognize and admit the way we feel before we judge the way we feel. Just as I share in my book about my story in the military, this is an example of emotions are messengers. They're like the soldiers that go on the front lines and they see what is going on and then they go back and report back to the headquarters. And that's our emotions. Emotions are, they may not always be right, but emotions are real. And let's recognize them. So what are you feeling inside? What is hurting you? What are you frustrated about? What is making you angry? What is making you sad? Why did you feel that way? What did you hear from that person and what did they really say? It's time to be objective. It's time to really dive in and say, okay, what did I really deal with? Why am I really angry by what they said? Why do I really feel rejected on the inside? It's time to vocalize the cry of our souls. So I know that you have to be tough. I know you have to be resilient. I know you have to endure. And I'm telling you, do not quit. Do not give up. I am not saying that you can't be strong, but I'm saying you need to gather your strength from Christ. That is true maturity. Because if we are choosing to get our own strength and our resilience and saying that we're good, saying that we're Gucci, saying that we can handle this, ultimately we are prideful. And ultimately God is saying, I cannot fix your pain if your pride won't admit that you do care and that you need to handle the brokenness inside. God's saying, I cannot fix your pain if you allow your pride to not admit that your value is based off other opinions and not God's opinion. We're fearful to recognize what we are going through, that we end up prolonging it. There are some people in your life that you shouldn't necessarily be in your life, but you are prolonging it and not facing it. You're prolonging the pain when it can be done in a season so you can be free and have abundant life in the next season. Take this time to really ask God and be real, because just remember that just as I'm talking to you, this is how I talk to God. I'm just real. I'm just like, God, listen, I am broken. I need you daily to fix this. I need you to show me your will. I believe I have seen the scriptures. There's some of you that know scriptures that can just say them off the bat, but they still aren't walking them out. And I'm like, God, I know the scriptures. I've seen what you've done in Paul's life. I've seen what you've done in Moses' life. I've seen what you've done in Gideon's and Peter's. I've seen what you've done, and now I need you to do it in my life. I need you to heal the broken pieces. I need you to prove what the word of God says, and I need you to show me. And sometimes we gotta be real. This is a place where we're transparent, where we're vulnerable, and we're saying, God, I'm meeting you at the well. I'm meeting you at the well, and I'm recognizing so that I can have the gifts of God, that I can have living water. So I ask you, will you meet him at the well? He's waiting for you, and he's saying, if only you knew the gift I have for you, you would want living water.